Hi, my name is George Crist. I was born February 19th, 1929. Today is October 2016. I had the privilege and honor of working in both the Poli and the Majestic from 1963 to 1972. A great experience of my lifetime. The people I met, the people I was connected with, and the most important thing, the beauty of those theaters. They were magnificent. When they said palaces, they were palaces. They were the attraction of almost everyone affiliated with any kind of movie going. Those were the theaters. Let's go back to that first day. I just met this man being Dave Zimmer, who owned the theaters at the time. I just met him. At the time, there were 9 executives in his office that morning. And these 9 executives were signing papers for Dave to take over the Poli and the Majestic. After all the signings were done, Dave throws me 2 sets of keys. One for the Poli, one for the Majestic. Go open the theaters. Wow. At that time, I was in my mid-20s. I was so excited. We're going to open up the theaters under new operations. It was a glorious day, walking into those magnificent theaters. As a little boy, in my lifetime, I remember sitting in the last balcony of this 3,700-seat Lowe's Poli on a midnight show, which was a big, big deal in Bridgeport, going to a midnight show. And here I am, walking through, and I'm looking around at all the posters and these chandeliers. And here I am. I said, wow, I'm part of this. I was so excited. That was the Poli. Then I have a walk over to the Majestic, who I leased for 9 years to try to describe the beauty of the theaters. All marble, murals all over the wall, everything sparkling clean, especially the chandeliers, which were on hoist. And I found out a few months later, I said, how come they're always shining? One of my ushers said, I'll tell you how they shine. He hoisted them down from a hoist for about 30 feet up in the air. And I remember they were using ammonia and water. That was the start of July of 1963. Now, after 9 years and these 2 magnificent theaters, came the last day. The last day, I had an indication from the night before. I don't know, it was a cold day, January, February of 1972. I went upstairs. For some reason, in the men's room, I tried to put the faucet on, and it was just a drip. And I said, uh-oh, this doesn't look good. So that evening, we went home, got up early in the morning, and my manager and I said, let's go down there. And sure enough, and all the pipes had frozen. There was a cascade of water coming down, dripping on it. It was really terrible. From the glorious first day that I walked in with all the keys to this day, and I had to make a decision. Try to save this theater as much as possible. Both my manager and I went down to the heating system. And the only way I could describe the heating system, it was like going to purgatory. To get to the heating system, you had to take a ship's ladder down at least 20 feet, down to the main valve, which I'll never forget. It was like a 17-inch valve with the name Jenkins Valve on it, which was made almost 2 miles from here, down on Main Street. And both he and I, we don't believe that valves were ever turned off. We had a hard time closing this valve. But with a little struggle, we finally closed the valve. It was a sad day because between the 2 theaters was a hotel with 107 rooms. It was called the Hotel Savoy. And everybody came up to me and said, where's the water? Where's the water? Of course, there was no water because they had heat. For some reason, between the hotels was much warmer than the theaters. So they had a little more time before the pipes had frozen. And then we had to tell them that there is no water. I don't know how many people were at the hotel at that time, but everybody was saddened. And that's my wonderful lifetime of being into the Poli and the Majestic for 9 glorious years. Thank you very much.